Christians cannot trust the motivations of the mainstream media due to its inherent biases, agendas, and lack of accountability. The media's primary goal is to attract viewers and generate revenue, often at the expense of truth and objectivity. This reality is particularly problematic for Christians, who are called to be discerning and wise in their consumption of information. The Bible warns believers to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, Matthew 10:16, emphasizing the need for discernment in a world filled with deception and misinformation. One of the primary reasons Christians cannot trust the mainstream media is its blatant bias against Christianity. Many media outlets have a clear agenda to undermine and mock Christian values, often portraying believers as intolerant, bigoted, and outdated. This biased reporting is not only misleading but also perpetuates a negative stereotype of Christians, contributing to a growing trend of anti-Christian sentiment in society. For instance, the media's coverage of Christian-related issues such as abortion, gay marriage, and religious freedom is often slanted and one-sided, giving prominence to liberal and secular perspectives while ignoring or dismissing Christian viewpoints. Furthermore, the mainstream media's obsession with sensationalism and controversy often leads to the manipulation and distortion of facts. In the pursuit of ratings and clicks, media outlets frequently exaggerate or fabricate stories, creating a false narrative that is both misleading and damaging. This phenomenon is particularly evident in the media's coverage of Christian figures and events, where reporters often focus on controversy and scandal rather than substance and context. The result is a distorted and unfair representation of Christianity, which can be incredibly damaging to the reputation of the faith and the witness of believers. Another reason Christians cannot trust the mainstream media is its lack of accountability and transparency. Unlike other professions, such as law or medicine, journalism is not subject to rigorous standards or regulations. This lack of oversight allows media outlets to operate with relative impunity, spreading misinformation and propaganda without fear of consequences. Moreover, media's reluctance to acknowledge and correct errors or biases only exacerbates the problem, creating a culture of dishonesty and untrustworthiness. For Christians, who are called to be people of integrity and truth, this lack of accountability is particularly troubling, as it undermines the very foundations of a trustworthy and reliable media. In addition to these concerns, the mainstream media's increasing reliance on secular and liberal sources is also a significant issue for Christians. Many media outlets have abandoned traditional journalistic principles such as objectivity and balance in favor of a more advocacy-oriented approach. This shift has resulted in a dearth of conservative and Christian perspectives, leaving believers without a voice or representation in the public square. The media's exclusion of Christian viewpoints not only perpetuates a lack of understanding and empathy but also contributes to a growing sense of marginalization and exclusion among believers. Finally, the mainstream media's cozy relationship with powerful interests and ideologies is a further reason for Christian skepticism. Many media outlets have close ties to government agencies, corporations, and special interest groups, which can influence their reporting and shape their agendas. This phenomenon is particularly evident in the media's coverage of issues like climate change, immigration, and social justice, where reporters often parrot the talking points of liberal elites and ignore or dismiss opposing viewpoints. For Christians, who are called to be salt and light in a corrupt and fallen world, this collusion between the media and powerful interests is a significant concern, as it undermines the very notion of a free and independent press. In conclusion, Christians cannot trust the motivations of the mainstream media due to its biases, agendas, and lack of accountability. The media's anti-Christian bias, obsession with sensationalism, lack of transparency, reliance on secular sources, and cozy relationship with powerful interests all contribute to a culture of distrust and skepticism among believers. As Christians navigate the complex and often treacherous landscape of modern media, they must be discerning and wise, seeking out alternative sources of information and holding the media accountable for its actions. By doing so, believers can promote a more nuanced and balanced understanding of the world, one that is grounded in truth, objectivity, and a commitment to the values of their faith.